I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Heimplanet Mono backpack, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. One of the more interesting things about the pack is the material that it's made with. So this is their proprietary Dico shell mono material, which is basically a 50% recycled polyester. And they say that the backpack is fully recyclable. So they don't really go into detail about like how you go about recycling the pack, but they do say that essentially the materials themselves and even this logo here are designed to be recyclable. And then the actual hardware itself is easy to detach. So you could theoretically, split it up. Be interested to learn a little bit more about how you can actually go about recycling the backpack since it's, fully recyclable, because that's interesting. But what I like about the material is you can kind of see it on video here, but it almost has like a, it's like luminescent. it's a, depending on like how the light hits it, it kind of changes like the way that it looks. And it's a really interesting color. I think that the red one looks like that, this red color here, and then there's like a blue one, I don't remember the exact names, and then the black is a little bit more subtle. But it has an interesting look to it. I'm just gonna bring it up closer to the camera there, but it is fairly durable. There is a TPE laminate, and a weatherproofing here as well. So you've got that going for you. YKK zippers, and it's only 1.58 pounds when everything's unpacked. In this case, I can speak to the durability of the materials and how easy they are to clean up. I do have a hornet's nest outside of my place right now, and one of them dive bombed me through my backpack because I was running from the bees, and I got dirt like all over this thing, and I left it on there actually for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I just recently cleaned it off, and you can see like it was, you can't really see because I wiped it off, but it was down here, and there was like spatters of stuff like all over the top here, and it was truly just like wet rag, wipe it down, and it came off really easily. So that was really nice. But it's got just like a very classic backpack silhouette to it. There's not really anything like crazy design-wise going on like the front here. A couple of different pockets and a really simple harness system, which we'll get into now. So on the back here, we have a top carry handle that's very basic, but it's set at the very, very back. So this is very easy to hang off of a hook like on a bathroom stall, or we have hooks at our desk, and the backpack hung very well there. I didn't feel it you can see that it kind of like curves back, but I never felt it like brushing up against my neck or anything, so that was good. We also have the back panel, which has like that very classic Heimplanet kind of like grid looking pattern here. In this case, there's a very slight amount of padding, but I found it to be more than substantial because this bag is so small. There is no aeration or anything like that either. I didn't personally, it's been really hot here in Michigan this summer. I personally didn't have any problems with like getting too sweaty or anything like that, but that is something to keep in mind if you have like really long commutes. It might not be as comfortable. The straps as well, they do have like a little bit, I wouldn't even call this mesh, it's just kind of like a soft, like stretchier nylon material, but there is a little bit of cushion here as well. But similar to this back panel, I would say that's like maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch of padding, and I found it to be perfectly fine. Like I didn't feel like I was really missing out on any padding. I think that the perk of this bag being so small is that it kind of molds to your body, which I'll show you in a second. There's also no sternum strap or hip belt. Definitely didn't use the hip belt. Also didn't really feel like I needed a sternum strap. And plus we've had issues in the past with, it's sold separately, but we've had issues in the past with that popping off of here. So didn't really find myself missing it. This is the bag when it's on my back. You can see that it comes down a little bit low. Like it comes down to, I would say like past my lower back, which if you, on the team, like we have some people here who have longer torsos, and it was definitely more comfortable for them because it sat up a little bit higher. For those of us with shorter torsos, mine's about 16 inches. It's definitely something where if it were when it is really heavy, I do kind of feel it digging in a bit, but because this bag isn't really that big, I don't really even find myself packing that much into it anyway. So for the most part, it stays pretty comfortable. The padding here is very, very simple, and it doesn't cut into my neck or anything. I feel like the straps are also thin enough to where they're not like bopping into my shoulders, or I'm not hitting them with my arms, which is nice. And then we've got some strap keepers that keep the extra strap adjustment pretty well in place down at the bottom there. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. As for the outside of this bag, very simple in terms of organization, actually just inside and out, very simple in terms of organization. This front pocket here is where you will store a majority of the items that you want quick access to. However, the disadvantage is that it's a very flat pocket, and as you pack out the main compartment, it starts to cut into that space. So I found that once I shoved everything in this bag, for the most part, it was almost like too hard to use this pocket. I would put very small items in here. So like right now I've got my keys and my phone, but there were times where I couldn't really even fit my phone in here because my phone, looking at my phone in comparison to the size of this pocket, if there was a very limited amount of space, sometimes I wouldn't be able to actually fit my phone in horizontally or really even vertically, because everything that was like bubbling out into this pocket made it like my phone doesn't bend, so it couldn't really bend with the material or anything. So if you're someone who carries a lot of gear, this may not be the best fit for you. Plus, it's very minimal organization, and maybe you like that, maybe you don't. Pouches are definitely something you're going to want to utilize with this bag. But the zipper pulls are really nice. All over the bag here, we've just got these like paracord zipper pulls, like I said, YKK zippers, and then these like little plastic kind of grabby points here that all say Heimplanet on it. So the logo on the front's pretty bold, but in the scheme of things, pretty subtle. I don't think it's not like all over the place, right? And then we also have the side quick grab pocket, which is designed so that when you have the bag on your back, you can flip it over to your front and you can reach this pocket here. In this case, it's very, very small. I honestly forgot about it a lot of the time, but this is a great spot for like a wallet, or even if you wanted to put your keys or something in here, you could. But you can see that the size of this pocket is pretty small, right? Like I have a regular size iPhone and I couldn't fit my phone in there. For the sake of time, I'm not going to do that, but it like wouldn't fit in nicely to be able to zip it shut. So this is something definitely where it's like a key or two, maybe if your keys aren't that big, or a wallet or something, that's going to be what you put in this pocket here. And then otherwise, everything's going to go into the main compartment, which we'll look at now. So like I mentioned, with these pockets getting really tight when the main compartment is full, you'll be able to see, well, actually, let me show you the outside here. You've been looking at it, but I want to point this out. I have a lot of gear packed into the bag right now, right here. And you can see how this just sorts to, like, it just kind of caves in. And because there's not a substantial amount of organization, unless you're like layering all your stuff up all the way to the top of the bag, for the most part, I could see somebody who's carrying a bag this size only having enough gear to really fill the bottom. So you got to be cool with like having more of like a saggier looking top. I didn't hate the look of it. I think, like I said, it's kind of got that like classic backpack style look. So it's more of like an aesthetic choice than anything. But if you wanted to fill this up a little bit more, you can see, I'll just disperse that. You can see that it kind of fills up this space a little bit more and then gives it like a nice rounded look. So kind of up to you what you're feeling. But we do have dual zippers, so you can open this from either side depending on which one you need access to more often. But in the actual bag here, I just have a layer. I'm thinking about like the kind of stuff that I carry from a day-to-day basis, right? Like sometimes I have like a lunch in here, and it's not like, this isn't something where you can put like a Tupperware container at the very bottom and like keep it flat. So this is something where, you need to be able to kind of shift your stuff to be able to fit in the pack versus just like setting everything in there. And in this case, there's no water bottle pocket on the outside. So, if you carry a water bottle, you need space for that. But with this, I got, usually what I carried on a day-to-day basis was, an extra layer, a water bottle, and then maybe a couple of different pouches. I did get like one overnight's worth of stuff in here, like basically just a toiletry bag and like a pair of pajamas and like a change of top to wear with the pants I was just going to wear a second day. So you could do like an overnight thing if you really needed to. But we also have we've got some info there on the material, but we do have in the back, we have you can fit up to a 16-inch laptop in there, and then there's this top drop pocket that is good for like the charger for your laptop or headphones. I also put my headphones in this pocket on the front or in this side one here, kind of, you got some options. But I think that this top pocket here, it stayed really nicely out of the way. It does kind of cut into where you store your laptop, but it's not like you can't get to your laptop with that still there. So in the scheme of things, not a huge deal. For me personally, it was nice to have like one pocket in here for small item organization, since there really is like limited pocket space on the outside. But you can see when you open up the bag all the way down, you can see that it's just very, very basic there. So with this laptop pocket, really quick as well, it does have a pretty decent false bottom. It's got like, I mean, I would say like maybe 2-3 inches worth. And then it's also got some decent padding on the inside as well. So I feel like with this, I was very confident that my laptop was safe and secure. It was just that sometimes with all the gear that I was carrying, if it wasn't like a malleable shape, like if I was carrying a Tupperware container or if I was carrying like a pouch that was a little bit stiffer, it was a little too hard for me to get everything in here, since the backpack is pretty slim in the scheme of things. So if you carry minimal items, it might not be a big deal for you, but if you're gonna be carrying more day to day, this might be a little bit too small. So there you have it, the Heimplanet Mono Backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.